Deuteronomy. We will be reading chapters 21 through 25. God bless you, and thank you for joining in today's reading of the Lord's holy word. If one is found slain in the land which Jehovah your God is giving to you to possess it, lying in the field, and it is not known who has struck him, then your elders and your judges shall come out, and they shall measure to the cities which are around the one slain. And it shall be that the city which is nearest to the one slain, even the elders of that city, shall take a heifer of the herd, which has not been worked with, and which has not drawn in the yoke. And the elders of that city shall bring the heifer down to an ever flowing stream, which is not plowed nor sown. And they shall break the heifer's neck there by the stream. And the priest, the sons of Levi, shall come near, for Jehovah your God has chosen them to minister to him, and to bless in the name of Jehovah. And by their mouth shall every controversy and every stroke be tried. And all the elders of that city which is nearest to the one slain shall wash their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken by the stream. And they shall answer and say, Our hands have not shed this blood, nor have our eyes seen it. O Jehovah, be merciful to your people Israel, whom you have redeemed, and do not allow innocent blood in the midst of your people Israel. And the blood shall be forgiven them, and you shall put away the innocent blood from among you, for you shall do that which is right in the eyes of Jehovah. When you go out to battle against your enemies, and Jehovah your God has given them into your hands, and you have taken them captive, and you have seen in the captivity a woman of beautiful face, and you desire her, even to take her to you for a wife, then you shall bring her into the midst of your household, and she shall shave her head and prepare her nails, and shall remove the clothing of her captivity from her, and shall live in your house, and shall bewail her father and her mother a month of days. Then afterwards you shall go into her, and shall marry her, and she shall be a wife to you. And it shall be, if you do not delight in her, you shall send her away at her desire, and you shall not at all sell her for silver. You shall not treat her as a slave, because you have humbled her. If a man has two wives, the one loved, and the other hated, and they have borne him sons, both the loved one and the hated one, and if the firstborn son was of her who was hated, then it shall be in the day that he causes his son to inherit that which he has, he may not make the son of the loved one the firstborn, before the son of the hated one, he who is truly the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the firstborn, the son of the hated one, by giving him a double portion of all that he has. For he is the firstfruit of his strength, the right of the firstborn is his. If a man has a stubborn and rebellious son, who will not listen to his father's voice or his mother's voice, even though they discipline him, he will not listen to them. Then his father and his mother shall lay hold on him, and bring out to the elders of his city, and to the gate of his place. And they shall say to the elders of his city, This son is ours. This son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not listen to our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, and he shall die. So you shall put away the evil from among you, that all Israel shall hear and fear. And if a man has committed a sin worthy to death, and he is put to death, and you hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night on the tree, but you shall surely bury him the same day. For he that is hanged is a reproach to God. And you shall not defile your land which Jehovah your God is giving to you as an inheritance. Chapter 22 of Deuteronomy. You shall not see your brother's ox or his sheep driven away, and hide yourself from them. You shall surely turn them back to your brother. And if your brother is not near you, and you do not know him, then you shall surely bring it home to your house, and it shall be with you until your brother inquires of it, and you shall restore it to him. And so you shall do with his ass, and so you shall do with his clothing, and so you shall do with everything lost of your brother's, which he has lost and you have found. You may not hide yourself. You shall not see your brother's ass or his ox fallen down in the highway and hide yourself from them. You shall surely help him lift them up. There shall not be the thing of a man on a woman, nor shall a man put on a woman's garment. For whoever does these things is an abomination to Jehovah your God. If a bird's nest happens to be before you in the way, in any tree, or on the ground, which young ones or eggs, and the mother is sitting on the young, or on the eggs, you shall not take the mother with the young, but in every case you shall let the mother go, and take the young for yourself, so that it may be well with you, and you may prolong your days. When you build a new house, then you shall make a guard rail for your roof, so that you do not put blood on your house if someone falls from it. You shall not sow your vineyard with various kinds of seeds, that the fruit of your seed which you have sown, and the fruit of your vineyard not be defiled. You shall not plow with an ox or an ass together. You shall not wear a garment of different kinds of wool and linen together. You shall make tassels for yourself on the four corners of your cloak with which you cover. If any man takes a wife and goes into her, and hates her, then makes shameful charges against her, and brings up an evil name on her, and says, I took this woman, and when I came near her, I did not find in her the token of virginity. Then the girl's father and her mother shall take and bring the girl's tokens of virginity to the elders of the city in the gate. And the girl's father shall say to the elders, I have given my daughter to this man for a wife, and he hates her. And behold, he has laid shameful charges, saying, I have not found in your daughter the tokens of virginity. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the garment before the elders of the city. And the elders of that city shall take that man and punish him. And they shall fine him 100 pieces of silver, and give them to the girl's father, because he has caused an evil name to be spread abroad on a virgin of Israel. And she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. But if this thing is true, that tokens of virginity have not been found for the girl, then they shall bring out the girl to the door of her father's house. And the men of her city shall stone her with stones, and she shall die, for she has done folly in Israel, to commit fornication in her father's house. And you shall put away the evil from among you. If a man is found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they shall both of them die, the man that lay with the woman, and the woman. And you shall put away the evil from Israel. If there is a girl that is a virgin, betrothed to a man, and a man finds her in the city and lies with her, then you shall bring them both out of the gate of the city, and you shall stone them with stones, so that they die, the girl because she did not cry out, being in the city, and the man because he has humbled his neighbor's wife. And you shall put away the evil from among you. But if a man finds a betrothed girl in the field, and the man seizes her and lies with her, then only the man that lay with her shall die, and you shall do nothing to the girl. The girl has no sin worthy of death. For as when a man rises against his neighbor and murders him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed girl cried out, but no one saved her. If a man finds a virgin girl, not being betrothed, and seizes her and lies with her, and they be found, then the man lying with her shall give to the girl's father 50 pieces of silver, and she shall be his wife. because he has humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. A man shall not take his father's wife, and shall not uncover his father's skirt. Chapter 23 of Deuteronomy. He being wounded, crushed, or cut in his male member, shall not enter into this assembly of Jehovah. And a illegitimate child shall not enter into the assembly of Jehovah. Even to the 10th generation shall none of his enter into the assembly of Jehovah. An Amorite or a Moabite shall not enter into the assembly of Jehovah. Even to the 10th generation shall none of them enter into the assembly of Jehovah. Perpetually, because they did not meet you with bread and with water in the way when you came out of Egypt, and because they hired against you Balaam, the son of Beor, from Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse you. But Jehovah your God would not listen to Balaam, and Jehovah your God turned the curse into a blessing to you, because Jehovah your God loved you. You shall not seek their peace nor their prosperity all your days perpetually. You shall not despise an Edomite, for he is your brother. You shall not despise an Egyptian, for you were an alien in his land. Sons of the 3rd generation that are born to them may enter into the assembly of Jehovah. When you go forth into camp against your enemies, then keep yourselves from every evil thing. If there is among you any man who is not clean, because of an accident at night, then he shall go to the outside of the camp. He shall not come in to the middle of the camp. And it shall be, as evening is turning, he shall bathe with water, and as the sun is sinking, he shall come into the middle of the camp. Also you shall have a place outside the camp, and you shall go out there. And you shall have an instrument on your staff, and it shall be, as you sit outside, you shall dig with it, and shall turn back, and shall cover that which comes from you. For Jehovah your God walks in the middle of your camp to deliver you, and to give up your enemies before you. Therefore your camp shall be holy, so that he may see no unclean thing in you, and turn away from you. You shall not hand over to his master a slave that has escaped from his master to you. He shall live with you, among you, in the place which he chooses inside one of your gates, wherever it is pleasing to him. You shall not oppress him. There shall be no harlot among the daughters of Israel, nor shall there be a homosexual among the sons of Israel. You shall not bring the hire of a harlot, or the price of a dog, into the house of Jehovah your God for any vow. For even both of these are an abomination to Jehovah your God. You shall not lend at interest to your brother, interest of silver, interest of food, interest of anything which is loaned at interest. You may lend to a stranger, but you shall not lend at interest to your brother, so that Jehovah your God may bless you in all that you put your hand to, in the land where you go to possess it. When you shall vow a vow to Jehovah your God, you shall not delay to perform it, for Jehovah your God will certainly require it of you. And it shall be sin to you, and it shall be sin to you, but if you shall forbear to vow, it shall be no sin to you. That which is gone out of your lips you shall keep, and shall do it, according as you have vowed as a freewill offering to Jehovah your God. Do even that which you have promised with your mouth. When you come into your neighbor's vineyard, then you may eat grapes to your fill at your pleasure, but you shall not put any in your vessel. When you come into your neighbor's standing grain, then you may pluck heads with your hand, but you shall not move a sickle into your neighbor's standing grain. Chapter 24 of Deuteronomy. And when a man has taken a wife and married her, and it happens that she finds no favor in his eyes because he has found a thing of uncleanness in her, and he writes her a bill of divorce and puts it in her hand, and sends her out of his house. And if she leaves his house and goes and becomes another man's wife, and the latter husband hates her, and writes her a bill of divorce, and puts it in her hand, and sends her out of his house, or if the later husband, who took her to be his wife, dies, her former husband, who sent her away, is not to take her again to be his wife after she is defiled. For it is a hateful thing before Jehovah, and you shall not cause the land to sin, which Jehovah your God is giving to you as an inheritance. When a man has taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, and he shall not be given any duty. He shall be free at his own house for 1 year, and shall gladden his wife with whom he has taken. No one shall take in pledge the lower and upper millstone, for he has taken a man's life to pledge. If a man is found stealing a person of his brothers, of the sons of Israel, and has dealt with him as a slave, and sold him, then that thief shall die. And you shall put away the evil from among you. Be on guard in the plague of leprosy, that you watch closely and do according to all that the Levitical priest shall teach you. As I commanded them, so you shall be careful to do. Remember that which Jehovah your God did to Miriam in the way, as you came out of Egypt. When you lend your neighbor any kind of loan, you shall not go to his house to get his pledge. You shall stand outside, and the man to whom you loan shall bring the security outside to you. And if the man is poor, you shall not sleep with his pledge. You shall certainly give back to him the pledge at sundown, and he shall lie down in his own clothing, and shall bless you. And it shall be righteousness to you before Jehovah your God. You shall not oppress a poor and needy hired servant of your brothers or of your aliens who are in your land, within your gates. In the same day you shall give him his hire. Do not let the sun go down on it, for he is poor, and has lifted up his heart on it, that he not cry against you to Jehovah, and it be a sin against you. The fathers shall not be put to death for sons, and sons are not to be put to death for fathers. They each shall be put to death for his own sin. You shall not pervert judgment of an alien, or of an orphan, and you shall not take a widow's garment as pledge. But you shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and Jehovah your God redeemed you from there. For that reason I command you to do this thing. When you cut down your harvest in the field, and have forgotten a sheaf in the field, you shall not turn back to taste it. It shall be for the alien, for the orphan, and for the widow, so that Jehovah your God shall bless you in all the work of your hand. When you beat your olive tree, you shall not search the branch behind you. It shall be for the alien, for the orphan, and for the widow. When you gather the grapes of your vineyard, you shall not glean it afterward. It shall be for the alien, for the orphan, and for the widow. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt. On account of this, I am commanding you to do this thing. Chapter 25 of Deuteronomy. If there is a contention between men, and they come to judgment, and they have been judged, and the righteous one is declared righteous, and the wrongdoer declared guilty, then it shall be, if the wrongdoer is a son of stripes, the judge shall cause him to fall down, and one shall strike him in his presence, enough for his wickedness by number. He may give him 40 stripes, he shall not add more, lest if he should exceed and beat him above with many stripes, then your brother would be dishonored before your eyes. You shall not muzzle an ox when he is treading out grain. If brothers live together, and the one of them dies, and has no son, the wife of the dead shall not go outside to a strange man. Her brother-in-law shall go into her, and take her to himself for a wife, and shall perform the duty of the Levirate. And it shall be, the firstborn which she bears shall rise up for his dead brother's name, and his name shall not be wiped out of Israel. And if the man does not desire to take his brother's wife, then his brother's wife shall go up to the gates to the elders and say, My husband's brother is refusing to raise up a name to his brother in Israel. He has not been willing to perform the duty of my Levirate. or levirate. And the elders of his city shall call for him, and shall speak to him, and he shall stand and say, I have no desire to take her. Then his brother's wife shall draw near to him before the elders, and shall take his shoe from his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, So it shall be done to the man who will not build up the house of his brother, and his name shall be called in Israel, the house of him whose shoe was taken off. When men fight with one another, and the wife of the one shall come near to deliver her husband from his assailant's hand, and shall put out her hand, and lay hold on his genitals, then you shall cut off her hand. Your eye shall not pity. You shall not have in your bag a weight and a weight, a great and a small. You shall not have in your house an ephah and a great and a small. You shall have a perfect and just weight. You shall have a perfect and just ephah, so that they prolong your days in the land which Jehovah your God is giving to you. For anyone doing these things is hateful to Jehovah your God, every one acting evilly. Remember what Amalek did to you by the way as you came forth out of Egypt, how he happened to meet you on the way and attacked your back, all the feeble ones in the rear, when you were faint and weary, and did not fear God. And it shall be, when Jehovah your God gives you rest from all your enemies round about in the land which Jehovah your God is giving to you as an inheritance, to possess it, you shall blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under the heavens, you shall not forget. Join me for another reading. We will be in Deuteronomy chapter 26 next time. God bless you, and may the Lord keep you abundantly in Him. May He always find us repentant and living a life that is pleasing unto Him.